So one thing a lot of you all know is that I know a lot about energy. I know the ins and outs, the shapes, the differences. I just know a whole lot about how energy works, how it's absorbed, how it's transmuted, transformed, circulated, recycled, all that. Opposed to, the basics, which is, when most people say, they can read energy, they're usually just talking about the presentation of a person opposed to the internal energy that a person brings. I say that to say this because a lot of times people, they cover up their negative energy, those fake high vibrating people who pretend like they don't really have low vibrations, but yet they cover it up with certain low vibrational talk covered in, a nice way of putting it. Like, say when someone is expressing themselves and someone may decide that they don't agree with what that person says, and they decide to come at them with an insult. Maybe call them a name like stupid. Maybe they say they have a problem. Maybe they call them, something like that. They just get a side of themselves and then maybe want to educate them on how they feel about the situation, yet they have already shown that they are low vibrational enough to, name call, to insult. That's not high vibration. I don't care what anybody say. You can sit here and talk as sweet and soft-spoken as I am and tell somebody that they are stupid, and you just automatically go into a negative conclusion about what you perceive from that person, and you start attacking with an insult regardless of how it's formed and how you see it. You're low vibrational, okay? So you're not going to actually see things the same way that that person may see it. And I say that because a whole lot of people really fool themselves when it comes to energy. A whole lot of people really feel like just because they feel like they have some type of sense or wisdom or education or knowledge that they are high vibrational, or just because, they come into the room and they shift the room with, laughter and uplifting and seeming like positive energy, but they could still carry some type of underlining bad spirit or energy with inside of themselves, or they could be carrying on the party with the wrong type of energy and intent, if there's gossiping involved, or, things that are unnecessary or harmful to someone else, which gossiping is. If you're speaking on somebody else's name, that's harmful, that's low vibrational, regardless of how high the energy may seem and how keying may be going on and all that. It's still low vibrational. People really get it misconstrued, okay? Low vibrational is who you are internally, okay? You could be a liar, you could be a manipulator, you could be a cheater. You could have the whole room fooled with your energy because it seems like it's just funny, it's uplifting, it's exciting. But yet you are all these things. Makes you low vibrational, makes you unreal, makes you manipulative, and makes you deceptive, okay? Unless those people actually know that and are aware of who you are. And if you're not aware of this, you're deceiving yourself. So I'm just here to tell you, like, y'all know who I am. I'm going to give it to y'all raw. I'm going to just put it out there. I speak my mind, because one thing I do, and it might be a tad bit low vibrational, is that I call people out on their low vibrations, Sometimes a lot of things don't need to be said, but y'all know I'm the one that's going to say the stuff that needs to be heard but doesn't want to be said. For example, that is why, a lot of men are really attractive to me. Those ones that actually know me, that get to know me, not those that are actually watching me and just see me and hear me, but those ones that might know me personally, that are actually attracted to me personally, and they fall in love because I give it to them raw. I give it to them wrong. Men don't respect that easy stuff. They might play with that easy stuff, but I tell men how it is. I don't tell them what they want to hear. I don't mislead. I help them in ways. I tell them and call out ways and certain personalities and traits and characteristics that I'm not okay with, and that they know they might tend to act in if they are aware, and they respect the fact that, I don't let them do whatever they want to do and just act any type of way with me. That is why, you know, it's not that I'm beautiful, but it's because I actually am who I am. I practice what I preach, and I don't play that, okay? So at the end of the day, y'all gotta watch these energies, because I don't let that energy play with me, and y'all don't have to either at the end of the day. I'm just saying, just keep that in mind. I love you guys. Mwah.